everybody. I am in Utah. I flew up here by myself, which, as you know, was interesting since I didn't used to be able to do that. So today, since I'm at Joshua's house, we are practicing, and so bear with us when I try to figure out how to get him on. So I don't see that he's here, but let me see if I can. Okay, there's no viewers yet, so I'll turn that on. Okay, I'll wait for his name to come up. Let me yell at him. Josh, I don't see your name. Oh, hi, Marcy. Well, welcome back. Okay, so I'm gonna look again and see. I don't see him, but we'll keep seeing. No viewers yet. Okay. Bear with me. Marcy, you hang in. You were here while we were trying to test this, so we'll see what it takes to get started. I'm still looking for him, and it still says just me is here. I hope you have a question for him, Marcy, for all your patience. He'll be happy to... Okay, so I think Josh is here. Let me see. But it says... Well, let me try. Come on. It's not... Dang. Josh, it says you're here, but it won't... I want to invite you, but... Well, hang in there. We're still... Oh, now it says there's 4 people here. Hang in here, 5. Well, hang in here, everybody. We're still trying to get Josh on. And I've got this turned on. Well, we got it this morning, and I don't know what the heck. Okay, he's coming in another way. Okay, let's see if this works. No viewers. Come on, I know that you're here. So why? Join me. Then send. Why is it not showing you? Why is it not letting me add you? Josh, it's still not letting me add you. It's still not letting me add you.
Well, I don't know how to do it from your end yet.
Let me try something else. What is that? Well, Josh, maybe you'll just... We got lots of thumbs up, you guys. It's so sweet of you to be patient. Does anybody know how to get Josh on?
Just do it with one if you have to.
Yeah, but we wanted to do this so we could do this regularly. Okay, well, Josh, come sit beside me.
You just can't find anything?
No. So...
Sliding? That sliding thing didn't do anything?
No, So here's where... What did you say? Oh, and it's way behind.
Request to be... Did you put me as my name before you started?
No, I didn't. I had it in the title before. Well, anyway, this is my son Joshua, who's an anxiety coach. Yeah, turn off yours and we'll get started, and we can at least do this until we figure out how to do it right.
We got it last time.
Yeah, we did the test. Marcy was here, and I don't know what's happening. So here's Josh.
Hi, everyone.
So we did have a question right before we came on from John, and I don't know if he's here. Oh, we've lost people. I don't blame you.
Don't worry.
I don't blame you. Josh, we had a question, and the question was, this man said, why do we add calcium? Why do we need calcium with anxiety? Because all the nutritionists I've spoken to have said we just need magnesium. And we've been using the combo. Dr. Myers took 16 years to figure out this protocol after he became a doctor. So, and he tried a lot of things, and the combo is really important. So I'm going to just hand you the phone, and you can talk about the combo and why calcium is important.
Well, one of the short answer is we don't fully know. That's always got to start any discussion about biochemistry. One of the things I was surprised to learn about when studying biochemistry in college was that when you look at how cells communicate with each other, they have this gap between each cell. And in that gap, they throw out different chemicals to help them communicate. All the chemicals you've heard about before, serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine. And there's this tiny little gap that separates each cell that they use for this chemical communication. Just as I was leaving school, we were starting to realize there's also an electrical pathway. So it looks like what our brain does is send an electrical signal from point A to point B that occurs at the speed of light. It's very, very fast. Then following that is a relatively slow chemical response where all these key chemicals get kicked out into the neural cleft, the synaptic cleft, we'll call it. And I was surprised to learn that two things. One, it occurs really fast. You'd think a chain of dominoes where each cell has to make a little packet of chemicals, send it out into this cleft, get picked up by the next cell. That cell has to figure out what to do with the information, send that downstream. That domino effect occurs at about 400 miles an hour. Well, come to find out, those packets of chemicals, the thing that makes the packets is actually calcium. It makes a little spherical packet of calcium, and it's pretty cool. You can actually see this happen. The guys who got the Nobel Prize for it took frog brains when this was happening and smashed it into zinc frozen plates and actually caught this action. They essentially froze it like a photograph, and they could study what chemicals were moving, how they were doing it. Pretty fascinating stuff. My mom would be a better person to know more about the physical side, the muscular relaxation. I know that it works, but she spent a long time working in a chiropractic office and watching people come in with dehydration, significant calcium deficiencies, and watching the significant physical effects that go with that. The way I think of the two, I do think of them as a pair. Calcium and magnesium work together. Basically, calcium will slow your gut down by itself. If you just took a bunch of calcium, that would have a constipating effect. If you just took a bunch of magnesium by itself, that would have the opposite effect. You'd go to the bathroom more frequently. You're able to take more calcium with the magnesium. You're able to take more magnesium with the calcium. I'd love to talk more about magnesium specifically. That also has some amazingly powerful effects. But when it comes to the calcium, for example, yesterday, I take about 1,000 milligrams of calcium a day of the Break Free program, and I decided I had a short amount of time, so I was going to do a quick exercise. And for me, that was about a half an hour of very intense aerobic exercise, biking up a hill. I didn't warm up properly. A bunch of lactic acid gets formed when I do that. And I can tell when I wake up at about 4 in the morning with extra anxiety that I've burned through some calcium. So even though I'm taking a relatively high dose of very absorbable calcium, just with one overexertion, I can see that calcium get used up by my body, in this case my muscles, and I know what to do immediately about it. Instead of reacting to that anxiety and that lack of sleep, I'm able to add, in my case, just 250 grams more magnesium. Milligrams. Sorry, grams would be excessive. Milligrams of calcium at, I probably ended up getting up at 6 in the morning to take it. I got another 2 hours of quality sleep. I feel perfectly normal today. I'm somebody who's had anxiety since I was very young. I have access to any drug you've ever heard of to treat it, and this turns out to be the best source for getting back to sleep, getting a normal day formed tomorrow. I could use Xanax, I could use Ambien, I can get all that stuff. I have tried a number of those things, and it just turns out for me, for the physical relaxation, the sleeping, the calcium is key. Mom, you want to tag in on the physical side?
Well, we talk about muscle tension, of course. A lot of patients that we saw would come in because of the headaches, the traps being just rock hard.
Trapezius muscles.
Yeah. They've heard me a few times talk about those. Muscle spasms all over their body. And Dr. Myers would, of course, work with them, but then he'd start them on their calcium, and those things would start to go away. It usually took a couple of days for him to see the muscles really, but these are really spasm muscles. Somebody needed sleep, we would maybe give him $250 an hour for a couple hours before bed. I know our picture's a little funky.
It's a little close.
Yeah, but my arm's short. I'm only 5'3".
I can hold it out.
Oh, I'll let you hold it
Okay,
for a
I'll
while.
hold.
Anyway, by the way, Josh talks technical because I asked him about the calcium, but when he's working with a patient, unless you really want to know, he's going to tell you. He explains it because you guys
it's
are
not
really
that
bright.
bad.
You know, you guys are really bright, and so when you know the rationalization for why this is needed in your body, it's important. I have to say, we just basically just did a tidbit. I mean, how long could you talk on calcium?
Well, PhDs could be written on calcium, like just small components of it. So years and years of study. We don't know all the answers, by the way. Anytime we talk about brain chemistry, we have these pretty cool understandings of what's going on, but a brain is this complicated. Kind of think of it as an engine that's a million times more complicated than the engine in your car, but it only works in a black box, and every time you open it, all the parts fall apart, and you can't watch it working. We can try to use now functional MRIs and watch how glucose is consumed in certain areas. We can do some cool things, but we need to know that let's see, if the brain was the map of the United States, right now where the sort of the granular detail is something like a farm or a town. That's about as accurately as we can see. We can't even get down to how the grass is growing, how the crops are being raised, what's going in it. We just can see that area is more green than that area. That's about the granular detail we can get right now.
With studying the brain.
I think it's amazing that that synaptic cleft I was talking about. We can actually make small glass or metal pipettes that go in and suck the chemicals out of a singular gap between two cells and can immediately measure the effect of a drug. Like when you take a SSRI, you can see the serotonin changes in about 4 hours, and they get that by directly sucking that right out of that cleft and measuring that accurately. Humanity is both amazing, but the thing we're trying to study is so complicated that we always have to admit.
Well, the thing is, in Dr. Meyer's practice, he would look at symptoms. And if your body said, this is what's going on, even if blood tests or whatever were saying no, he would treat the symptoms and then monitor very carefully. And that's what we still have to do, because we just really don't know. We throw those SSRIs in the brain,
sure,
and we hope something's going to happen. A lot of times it's not good that happens. Some help and some don't. It's kind of a guessing game putting it together. But I can tell you that calcium and magnesium are extremely important. Now, the problem is that calcium comes in all kinds of forms, and manufacturers make it very differently, and magnesium comes in different forms, and also manufacturers make them very differently. So it took us a long time to find what works. So you may have tried calcium and magnesium and it didn't work, and that's because even in that, just that small amount, it's much more detail in that. So it took us a long time to figure this out, and it doesn't always work.
Yeah, if you just look at, like, say a calcium is absorbing 1, a good one is absorbing at 70%, and a bad one's absorbing at 10%.
Well,
some are actually...
Are you talking about magnesium or calcium?
In this case, calcium.
Well, we've got calcium carbonate.
That's probably going backwards.
Yes.
So there's a number of calciums that aren't very absorbable. So you say, I took 1,000 milligrams of calcium, it didn't work very well. Well, in calcium specifically, the kinds of calcium variate a lot. Magnesium I find is a little easier. Like if I get stuck out there somewhere and I just need to go to a store and get a magnesium, I stand a better chance of finding a magnesium that will work okay. I recently did that. I ran out of my good break-free stuff. My mom was flying out. I thought I had enough to cover until she showed up and bring me my new supply, but I got a calcium that a magnesium that was the same manufacturing process. And even then, it was different. And my wife and I both take it. We both kind of commented that we were feeling a little different. We were reacting to it a little different. It took a little more to get the same results. So we're really sensitive. Earlier, my mom touched on, I think, an important concept. which is treating symptoms. If you tested me, I think you would find that my calcium levels are high or normal. If you tested me for B12, I think you would find that my levels, I think I've done this, are perfectly normal. However, I have to supplement on both of those to live well. I don't really care to explain fully what's going on there. I just know that before, in my case, I injected B12, I was super fatigued, this chronic, I don't know what exactly was going on. My mom has a similar pernicious anemia kind of effect, and she injects B12. I just felt kind of worn out, mentally foggy. This was for probably a year, and tried that B12, and it improved me. Before I tried the B12, I got tested and tested perfectly normally.
But it wasn't normal for you.
Yeah,
That's the thing. If you look at these blood tests and they say, this is what's normal. Well, the fact is it's averages. This is
Sure.
what the average person has. And it doesn't mean it's right for your body. We're getting way out in the weeds.
That's fine.
And
That's
we've
fine.
been on for like 15
All
minutes.
right, thank you guys for
Yeah.
watching. This was an interesting experiment. Sorry we started in a little bit of a fumbling way.
Well, we're going to figure this out because
Sure.
Josh lives in Utah and I live in San Diego, California. So we can't sit here and do this very often.
Well, this is doable. We can
We
figure
can
this
do
out.
this. So
Yeah,
we'll
we
be
can figure
back.
this
So
out.
you guys come up with some questions. We love to answer them. Joshua loves to teach. He loves to help people get well, and he loves to teach. He's just born teacher. So anyway, I will talk to you guys on Monday. I'll be back by then. So save up your questions, and we'll be answering them.
Yeah, real quick. My mom just flies out here like it's no big deal now. I pick her up at the airport all the time. This used to be a big deal.
Oh, it was a no deal.
Yeah.
It was a-
And I always try to mention, like, hey, you just hop on an airplane like it's nothing now. I certainly remember a few decades of my life where that just was not the case. So good on her. So
Yes.
congratulations for getting to that point.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, you guys, we'll learn from our experience because Josh had plenty of years when he couldn't do a lot of things. He tried, boy, he was the bravest guy I know. But anyway, we will talk to you later, and our goal is to help as many people with anxiety as we can.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.